Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I am your host, Chris Stachiw, and I am joined by a true monster among men and the host of You've Never Seen, Father Malone.
Good afternoon, wherever you are. It's afternoon.
It's afternoon here where we are. We're actually in the same time zone.
Yeah, same time zone.
Which never happens.
No, never, because I'm usually West Coast and you're Central, but today I am Central as well.
And boy, what a day. What a day.
Yeah, isn't it?
What a day to be kicking off Weird 90s Comedy Month. Or maybe we should call this month You've Never Seen 90s Comedy Month. Oh, look at that. Oh, I was going to drop that one on you. I hadn't told you about it, but I was going to drop it on you since you're the first one here. Boy, and your face is just rosy red. I can tell. I'm not even in the room with you.
It is. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm very, very happy that you said it. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, this is You've Never Seen Weird 90s Comedies. So this month we're going to be talking about weird 90s comedies that you've never seen. And I've never even seen either. So we're actually going to be kicking it off with a look at a little film you've never seen, which is called Matinee, directed by Joe Dante. Yes, that Joe Dante. Joe Dante of such fame as, Gremlins, Inner Space, The Howling, and even Small Soldiers, which is a film that honestly has aged a lot better than most people remember.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's great. So, we're going to be talking...
The Burbs. Come on, man. The Burbs.
I've never seen.
Oh my God! Okay, it is You've Never Seen month.
But I have, you know what film by Joe Dante I have seen that I really do love? Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which I feel like is a much more, look, as much as I like Gremlins, which I do, I think everyone likes Gremlins. Gremlins is now a, merchandising powerhouse. I will go on record and say that I love Gremlins 2 way more. I know that we're a little off topic, but it is Joe Dante, and we haven't done any Joe Dante movies on here before. So this is a pretty good opportunity to talk about Joe Dante just as a director, because Gremlins 2 is a fucking masterpiece of a film.
I agree with you.
From the Hulk Hogan intercut thing to them interrupting the fucking movie, it is just, oh my God.
It's pretty great. Joe Dante is the most mischievous filmmaker in the Hollywood system, and I think that mischief extends to his own material. I think definitely in the case of Gremlins 2, This is a filmmaker who looked at what he had done previously and thought, I can't replicate that. Let me throw it into a whole other direction. And that whole other direction is at least as interesting. I don't know that it's better than the Gremlins film. The first Gremlins film is a work of staggering genius, and I think Gremlins 2 is a work of staggering genius in its own way. It doesn't hit me in the way that the first film does, but it is at least as interesting in a different way than the first film.
And Joe Dante has also worked with, on several occasions, good friend of You've Never Seen, the YouTube channel, Alan Arkish.
Yeah, those guys came up together over at Roger Corman's films, where they cut trailers together for movies like Eat My Dust and Big Bad Mama. Alan Arkish and Joe Dante are sort of inextricably linked in my mind. But and Alan Arkish, if you don't know, was the director of Rock and Roll High School, the Ramones film, and a movie that everyone should see, but you've never seen, called Get Crazy, which I believe is actually coming out on Blu-ray very soon. So that's one you should definitely check out.
So more people will have seen it, hopefully.
I hope so, because it is as good as anything I would ever discuss on any podcast. I've made it my mission in life to turn people on to that movie.
And look, Joe Dante, like we mentioned, has had a lot of... Joe Dante's film that he will be remembered for when he is done directing, he will be known for Gremlins.
Certainly.
We just talked about him on our Twilight Zone podcast, where he directed the segment The Shadow Man, which is also amazing and fantastic. So he's done a lot of really great stuff. But again, when you direct something as, I would say, monumental for the pop culture world as Gremlins, you're kind of known as the guy who directed Gremlins. And obviously he didn't write Gremlins. The guy who wrote Gremlins would go on to have his own massively successful career. And you know who wrote Gremlins, Mike, as do I. That was Chris Columbus, yeah. Exactly. So he went on to direct a couple little movies you may have heard of, like Harry Potter 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Home Alone. So
Adventures in Babysitting.
Never seen it.
Oh my God.
I'm just breaking your heart. I'm breaking your heart one film at a time.
A little bit at a time, yeah. But have you actually read the script for Gremlins that Chris Columbus wrote, the original script?
I have not.
It is so fucking mean.
That's what I had heard. It's like way more mean-spirited than the film is, right?
Oh my God. And that film twisted the minds of an entire generation. But had they made the film as written by Chris Columbus, it would have been far worse. That's a great script. I think making the movie for Steven Spielberg, like Joe Dante, stuck to. It was a nice balance between Spielberg and Columbus. I think the movie that we got was great. I think the movie that maybe was initially conceived might be a little bit more frightening, but then that movie wouldn't have reached the audience that it did. So God bless you, Joe Dante.
Yeah, because again, Gremlins to me, I feel like is very similar to Poltergeist. Like, it is a horror movie for families. Like Gremlins, I would still say Gremlins.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output, and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24-related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
This is pretty much a horror movie. Like, it kind of is. It has a lot of horror tones.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, which, again, is why I love it so much. I love the second one more because I think the second one is just... The second one subverts what the first film did. It does... I mean, the gremlins are scary in the second one, but it's also what the gremlins are is scarier. Like, you got an electricity gremlin and a spider gremlin. And the funniest one, the goddamn gargoyle bat gremlin, which is still an absolute stroke of genius.
Is the transvestite one the better one?
You mean the one that Robert Picardo, who actually is in Matinee, referenced on his Twitter a couple weeks ago? Did you see that?
I didn't, but then Robert Picardo is one of these guys in Joe Dante's sort of repertory cast, so I'm not surprised.
So Robert Picardo had like a picture of the female gremlin on his shirt. And it was like on his little tweet said like spending the day with the one I love or something, and it was just him with this with a t-shirt on that had like the female gremlin on it, and I was like, that is fucking amazing because it is one of the better bits of that movie, and that movie is full of just I don't want to do a podcast on Gremlins 2 because I will just be gushing about how much I love it, but if you've never seen
we totally
Gremlins
should
2,
then.
Yeah, Gremlins 2 it's so good. It's just, oh, God, so good.
Yeah, or forgetting John Glover, who is fucking amazing.
Oh, my God.
As a Trump clone, he's so fucking funny.
And he's a Trump clone, but actually he is way more likable than that even sounds on paper.
Yeah, I mean, he's really fucking funny in it. That movie has one joke that like makes me laugh every single time I watch it. And it's just because the Clamp character has a building that is the first sort of automated building that's like an AI going on. And not William Ragsdale, who is it? Zach Galligan from the first film, walks into the men's room. And as he does, the voice says, like, "Welcome to the men's room, mister." Which, for some reason, it's like makes me laugh every single time.
I mean, it is, again, like, we're not going to get sidetracked talking about it much longer, but Gremlins 2, we got to do a podcast on it at some point, clearly, because it is such a fucking hilarious just subversion of everything that, like, if the first Gremlins is a horror movie, if Gremlins is to Alien, then Gremlins 2 is to Aliens. It subverts the expectations completely.
It really does. It is its own separate animal, which you can't have without the first film. Nevertheless, he takes it in such interesting directions that it's like, I don't know. You're right. We really ought to talk about that movie at some point because it's fucking genius.
Yeah, Gremlins 2 really is one of those films where I just, every time I think about it, I'm like, God, I fucking love this movie. However, let's talk about Matinee.
How could such a thing happen, Dr. Grabau?
The ant's saliva must have gotten into Bill's bloodstream and gone straight to his brain, just as the radiation, which is measured in units called Roentgens, was released.
And that's how he became a...
Mant.
Gotcha!
For the kids of Key West, Florida, there was nothing scarier than a monster matinee.
Lawrence Woolsey, the master of movie horror, exterminates you with Mant.
The story of Mant is based on scientific fact, on theories that have appeared in national magazines.
But in the fall of 1962,
a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on the island of Cuba.
They got the biggest scare of all.
They're gonna bomb us?
The country is on red alert.
And what a perfect time to open a new horror movie.
That'd be the best show to take a girl to.
The whole world's gonna blow up anyway, so we should just do whatever we want.
You know, last guy showing out was in reform school.
He did teach me a lot.
What about?
About my body.
Think if the bomb were about to fall, she'd do it with me.
Wait till you see the feelers on this thing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Some of it's stage lighting, some of it's magic show stuff, but the big studios, none of them have anything like it. You never, ever turn one above 6.
from Joe Dante, director of Gremlins.
You see what he's putting back? The showmanship.
The bombs are falling!
You think this is some kind of picnic for me?
I'm still concerned about that bomb thing.
Little question of taste?
No, but your younger patrons, you could have some seat wetness.
John Goodman.
I love this business.
Matinee.
Man, I've seen this twice.
Like I said before, the film is directed by Joe Dante. It is written by Jericho Stone and Charles Haas. Charles Haas, he's the one that's in the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he plays the teacher in the film. The film stars John Goodman, Kathy Moriarty, Robert Picardo's in there. A lot of children cast in the film, though, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Dick Miller is in it. Dick Miller, again, and John Sayles, they kind of are mainstays of Joe Dante's kind of, like you mentioned, repertoire of actors that he works with. Dick Miller, obviously, more so because he was in like all the Gremlins movies.
He's in every Joe Dante movie.
Yeah, exactly. And Dick Miller's great. I believe Dick Miller just recently passed away, which is a bummer. He passed away in January of this year. He's fucking amazing in everything. You've seen him before. He really is. He's the pawn shop clerk in The Terminator. He's
so good.
He's the next door neighbor in Gremlins. He's amazing. He's not given much to do in this film, unfortunately, but he's given a part that I think it just further intensifies John Goodman's character. So John Goodman in this film plays a small-time film promoter who releases a horror film that has one of those, you know, back in the 50s and 60s they had like and now in Blood Vision or Horror Vision and all these gimmicks to try to get people to come in and see these like films that are admittedly not great, but the kind of the added extra little bit of nonsense that they would throw in to try to get people into the theaters. Everybody was looking for that different angle. And so this film takes place during the Cuban Missile Crisis in Key West, where John Goodman is going to premiere his film Mant. And fuck, dude, I love everything about this movie that involves John Goodman, but a lot of the stuff with the kids is just generic and it feels a little tacked on.
Okay, I love this movie. I'm not going to fight you on the fact that everything not involving Lawrence Woolsey, that's the John Goodman's character's name.
It was like a mix between like Ed Wood and Alfred.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan. #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-Criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hitchcock?
Yeah, I mean, really, it is almost, I'll say 95% based on Mr. William Castle.
Right.
Who is a true American original. William Castle, if you don't know, made films like 13 Ghosts and Homicidal, and eventually produced Rosemary's Baby. But during the sort of early to mid to late 60s, like produced films that not only were a film in themselves, but included a gimmick. So in, say, The House on Haunted Hill, if you went to see the movie, the ending had a skeleton emerge from this bath of acid, and while you were sitting in the theater, a skeleton would emerge from the screen and fly over the audience.
Which they reference at the end of this movie.
Yeah, they did. The Tingler, this is actually more referenced in the film. there was a film called The Tingler with Vincent Price where this creature would grab hold of people who were afraid and tingle them to death, as it were. And when that happened on screen, he had hooked up tiny motors under the seats, the movie theater seats, that would vibrate your seat. So you were unaware that that was going to happen. And when the Tingler attacked, certain members of the audience would suddenly have their seat shaking and would think that they were being attacked by the Tingler. William Castle is a fucking genius, as good as P.T. Barnum or fucking Colonel Tom Parker as far as showmanship. So it's kind of based on him. It's also based on a couple other people. Yeah, I do agree with you that whenever John Goodman is on screen, like the movie gets up to a 10. Every time when we sort of pull back to the family story, even though it's set during the Cuban Missile Crisis, which itself should be up in the 10 category, it's more of a 6.
Yeah, it's weird to me that so much time and effort is put into telling the story of these kids because they're not interesting. And frankly, what ends up happening towards the end of the film with Omri Katz, who plays Stan, and Kelly Martin, who plays Sherry, like their characters, like they're the main reason that there's like a conflict in the film, and it feels so tacked on. It feels like they had to tack on a conflict when the conflict could have just been John Goodman as Lawrence Woolsey and Kathy Moriarty as his, starlet / girlfriend. It could have just been the conflict between him trying to be successful and make a movie that works and, make a name for himself and be that success that he wants to be, and that everything else just feels really unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Like,
it's more unfortunate than anything else as far as I'm concerned.
Now, what my understanding is that the original script by Jericho, what was his last name? I don't even know.
Stone.
Jericho Stone, like that script was about literally a matinee at a movie theater where in the early 60s, the movie is playing, but what's happening on screen sort of starts reflecting in the theater to the point where there's like a vampire running the projector and there are monsters sort of like roaming the hallways and stuff.
So it was essentially just demons.
Yeah, basically. But like nobody wanted to make that movie. And I think Joe Dante actually tried to make that movie. So Charlie Haas came on board, and he had written Gremlins 2. So, obviously Dante trusted him. And he came up with the angle of, like, let's set it during the Cuban Missile Crisis and make this, like, Lawrence Woolsey character the sort of analog to William Castle. Which are all very, sort of good steps toward getting this movie made. I think ultimately, though, as you said, like, I don't know if it's the characters necessarily as written or the actors portraying them that sort of betrays that. I think it is like the Cuban Missile Crisis and the sort of panic inherent in the idea that the world is going to end because of nuclear fire is like a very good one.
Especially for the time period that it's set in, it makes sense.
Absolutely, man. Like, I think I'm probably the last generation of the Cold War that, like, was constantly fearing that the whole world was going to be destroyed by, like, nuclear annihilation. And when I look back on sort of films at the time, the early 60s, what they were feeding children as far as, like, what you need to be doing during a nuclear crisis, like, I can only imagine how twisted their brains were. Like, so there's a lot to mine from that idea, particularly given that they incorporated it with this film about nuclear or radiation creating this monster. So,
which the film itself is hilarious on top of everything else. Like, it's not being played for scares either, which is great.
No, not at all. It's very... the film Mant, which if you had gotten the Laserdisc of this movie, you could just watch the movie as it was filmed. That movie, like, if I didn't know that, like, William Shallard and some of the other actors in it, like, were, sort of making a parody of those movies, I would totally buy it as a film from, say, 1962, 1963. But ultimately, you're right. Like, I do not like the lead kid in the movie.
Oh, it's not that he's terrible. It's that he's just not given anything interesting to do. And his whole thing is, my dad went away to the blockade that we have with Cuba. And it's like, okay, that's it for your characterization. There's more interesting characters that we spend less time with. John Goodman's character, Kathy Moriarty's
That's true,
character.
but you know what like the idea of like what that kid is supposed to be maybe 13 years old.
Right.
So like, given that backstory, that's actually pretty good. I just don't think that the actor himself is that interesting. I whenever he's on screen, I'm not keyed in. And, at any point you make a kids movie or a movie with kids in them, sometimes you're going to get a score. Like, Joe Dante made a movie called The Explorers where he had fucking Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix as his two leads. And that movie is great because of those guys. So...
Well, and the really disappointing thing is that you have Omri Katz in the film, who is pretty good. I mean, if you're wondering why when you watch Matinee you recognize him, I can tell you why. It's getting around October. It's September now. If you are married to someone who grew up in the 90s and they like Disney horror films, Halloween films, then you're probably going to be subjected to watch Hocus Pocus. And he plays the main kid in Hocus Pocus. The main male lead.
Yeah.
And look, minor aside, I really don't like that movie. I actually really don't like that movie. But my wife does, so every year I have to put it on, and I have to watch Hocus Pocus, and the fuck ever, fine. It's fine. She knows I don't like it, but I'll watch it for her because,
You're a good man, Chris, because you know what? That movie is fucking terrible.
It is. Like, it's a fucking bad movie. Like, look, I would rather watch Halloween Town, which... Mm-hmm. Halloween Town has a lot of charm. Like, I really actually, like, I will go out on a limb and say that Halloween Town is a fuckload of fun. Like, and they should have put that on the box of the movie. Halloween Town, fuckload of fun.
We'll sell so many many units.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's a reason that movie's fun. That Hocus Pocus isn't fun. I think Hocus Pocus isn't fun because I think all of the three sisters, the Sanderson sisters, are fucking obnoxious. Bette Midler with those teeth is just the most grating shit I can think of in regards to a performance. And I just think it's honestly just a stupid fucking movie. But again, I watch it because whatever. And Omri Katz
You're a good man.
I don't know about that. But Omri Katz was also
if you're watching that movie once a year, man, you're good.
Omri Katz is also in Erie, Indiana, which is a great little kind of children's Twin Peaks, Twilight Zone-esque show from the 90s that only ran one season.
Who made that series?
I believe Joe Dante did.
It was Joe Dante!
Yeah, which, again, makes me wonder why Simon Fenton, which is the whole point I was trying to make, coming back to this, I don't know why Simon Fenton was the lead in this film, because he is not very good.
No, he's very uninteresting.
Yeah, Omri Katz would have been a much better lead, is what I am getting.
I agree. Now, let me just sort of throw some backstory here. I mean, I've already mentioned the script, like where it was and where they got it to. Now, evidently, the production company that was producing the movie, now, I think Universal eventually released the film, right?
But the production company went out of business.
That's the thing, like... So I read an interview with Joe Dante where he said the production company that was actually making it kept, like, every week when payroll came due would say, we don't have it this week, just have Universal, like, front us and we'll take care of it. And it became clear after a couple of weeks of this that the company that they were working with had no money at all. So... then Joe Dante went to Universal and was like, listen, you've already put in this much money. Could you just produce the rest of the movie? Which they agreed to do. And it wasn't like the budget was so crazy that they couldn't afford it. And they kind of just made it as a Universal film, like a comedy of the time. This is like 1993, I believe, right?
Right.
I I don't know. I mean, look, that doesn't speak to where the movie had already been as far as what was cast and who was starring in it. I think that the main lead of the film is very unappealing. Every time he's on screen, I don't care.
Exactly, and that's a big disappointment when the way I look at it is every time Simon Fenton is on screen, it's just taking away time we could have been spending with John Goodman.
Yeah, ultimately. I mean, look, no one has bothered to make a movie about William Castle, and they really ought to, because, as I've said previously, he is one of the great showmen in American history. I mean, as far as film goes, he's probably the greatest film showman of all time, and deserves a level of respect and focus that this movie does not afford. Nevertheless, I mean, at the time this movie came out, I certainly went to see it because I have been obsessed with William Castle since I was a young boy, and every time that character is on screen, I'm completely riveted. Now, it is a fictionalized version of him, clearly, because we have the Kathy Moriarty character, who is his lead actress in his films, who, that's sort of not true at all as far as William Castle's story. Nevertheless, Kathy Moriarty is great in this movie.
She's not given a whole lot to do, which is unfortunate.
That's true, but, you know, she's given as much as John Goodman is given to do.
Right.
And how sort of her attitude of just like this sort of laissez-faire, like this is just my gig, this is just something I'm doing, is so fucking appealing. And she's really good. And she's really good in Mant, the sort of film within a film that we've got. And she's extra great when she's just being this actress who is so put upon by the fact that her husband, or potential husband, is this showman that she has to sort of like, you know, back up at all times. She's great in this movie.
Sounds almost like your significant other and my significant other. which may have been why I also gravitated towards this film.
Right?
Right, like, there's a little bit of like, oh God, this shit again. Like, and like, you know what I mean? I mean, you know what I mean. And, you know,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean,
so.
You know, your significant other and mine, my girl Jess, like, I think they're never critical of what we're doing, but they support us 100%. And so, I don't know. Kathy Moriarty is so fucking good.
I'll tell you what, as much as I like Mant, the one film within the film, I do like the other film within the film.
Are we talking about the shopping cart movie?
Oh my God.
So fucking good.
The Shook Up Shopping Cart.
Shook Up Shopping Cart.
Which is a film about an anthropomorphic shopping cart, and you know who is in that film within a film?
Oh yeah, I do. It's fucking Archie Hahn.
Also Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts, her first American films, her American film screen debut is Naomi Watts. She's really good in it. Archie Hahn, because you and I both are fucking fanatical about Phantom of the Paradise, one of the undeads, and Juicy Fruits, and another one of these actors who is in every one of Joe Dante's movies. Like his repertoire.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Cast. I love it. And it's funny because I just read an interview, as I said, about Joe Dante, or rather from Joe Dante, where he was talking about these sort of Disney movies from that period where it seemed like nobody was satisfied with the product. Like he was speaking specifically about the Herbie the Love Bug movies, where it seemed like older kids were just like, what the fuck is this? And kids were also like, what the fuck is this? But at the same time, like, you know, going to the movies was a thing then where you were excited to go So
it was something you looked forward to.
Absolutely. Like, on Friday, no matter what was going on during your week, you were still going to get something new from a studio.
Right.
And, that's the case here with the shook-up shopping cart. Like, as bad as it is, these characters are going to watch it. And, you bide your time until Mant comes out. But, nevertheless, you'll go see this thing.
And that's the thing about this movie that I really like, is that it does such a good job of evoking a time and place that is so kind of, it feels out of reach now, and it really is out of reach because, you wouldn't get this anymore. You wouldn't get, a horror director coming to your town to premiere his movie like this. I mean, that still happens, but that's not the thing anymore. And it's unfortunate that time and place is gone. It was snap your fingers and it's over. But at the same time, the thing I do love about this movie is it is a love letter to a time and place. And it evokes it really well.
It really does. I mean, this is obviously completely within the wheelhouse of Joe Dante when he was a kid, going to the cinema. So a lot of the sort of details are perfect because this is what he remembers. But yes, I agree 100%. As far as, what we expect from movies and going week to week, it's so far gone now.
Well, nobody goes week to week anymore.
They certainly don't, and there's never a moment nowadays where you would have an opportunity to see a movie from now till then. Even if a movie came out, and I'm sure you do this as well. I know I do it, where I look at a movie and I go, well, in just a couple of weeks it's going to be available for digital download, and why should I bother? I want to see it, but not that much. Whereas in 1963, that was it. If you didn't go, you were not going to see that movie. Maybe, if it was successful, a couple of years from then, there would be a revival of it, and they would show it again, and you could see it. Or maybe, possibly, hopefully, you could see it on television. But, movies were a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And now it's just, a place where people go before they can own it on their phone or their tablet or any of these other sort of, technological marvels. So, there's so much in this movie that now, this movie came out in 92, and at the time, it didn't seem like that big a deal, but thank God that Joe Dante wanted to focus on this particular time period where movies were, if you were a movie fan, so fucking important. You had to go. If you loved movies, here's this movie, I need to go see this. Because all that's going to exist after I see it are my memories of it.
And that's not the way it is now. And that is what we have lost so much. Even, God, and this is something just specific to me, or not to me. I'm sure if you have ever gone and seen a movie in the last 10 years, you've experienced it too. But remember when you didn't have to worry about people being on their phones in the movies?
You're touching on a huge pet peeve of mine. Chris, you know me. I was a movie theater projectionist from, say, 1992 until about 2009. So I had the advantage of seeing movies by myself just to make sure that they looked okay on Thursday nights before the movie premiered. So I'm used to seeing movies with no one in attendance. Even during that period when I would see a movie with people, it would seem like there was always some asshole who was just talking during the movie about whatever their fucking day was. And at that time I was like, what? Why are you even here? But nowadays, oh my God, this idea that I'm just going to take out my phone, which is effectively a television screen, and blind whoever's behind me, is bonkers to me. Theater etiquette, it just has gone, in the past 10 years, has nosedived. the idea that there was once a time, and I lived through it, and I'm grateful that I did, where you could see a movie, and if somebody was talking, other people would gladly step in and say, "Stop talking. We're watching the movie." Is a time long gone now. We're at the point now where it just doesn't seem like anyone gives a shit that they're at the movies. And movies used to be a big deal. And now it's, you pay an exorbitant amount now to see a movie, and there is no... Like, theaters don't police their own screens. It just drives me crazy. Like, it doesn't take much to have somebody come in and point at somebody and say, "Stop doing that," and they would. But theaters don't care to do that anymore. Like, I don't know. The state of presentation of films, to me, in 2019 is deplorable. Like, when... At the time, in 1963, these kids are going to the movies. Those kids were paying $0.25. And not only would they see the feature that they were wanting to see, they would see a cartoon and a newsreel and a bunch of trailers and one feature and a second feature. And if they so chose, they could stay and do the whole thing again. So it seems like at the time, what a golden age, because you could not only for nothing see the very best of what you could experience in cinema, but now, like, you're paying through the nose to go see a movie, and there are people in the theater who don't give a shit that they're there. I honestly don't understand why they're there to begin with.
Well, that's the thing I didn't understand. So when I went and saw It Chapter 2 a couple weeks ago, there was some fucker on his phone the entire time. Like, the entire time. And... Look, I am the kind of person that is going to level with someone and tell them to knock it the fuck off, but at the same time, I don't want to have someone pull a fucking gun on me or turn around and try to sock me. So I did the next best thing. I just went to the lobby of the movie theater and told them, because technically that's supposed to be their job. And they also don't do it very well because the human element is shockingly the human element.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Rather than confront the person, I'm always willing to get up and go talk to management and say, "There's a situation in here." Sometimes you get an immediate result and it's fantastic. More often than not, you get no result at all.
Shocking.
Yeah, people wonder about, like, movie theaters, and they're like, oh, they're going to go under because, so everything is available via streaming or on their phone or like via tablet or laptop. And those things are not destroying movies. What's destroying movies are movie theaters that actually don't give a shit about the presentation. And, like, not only... okay, I'm going to talk as a projectionist for a moment. Like, not only do they not care that people are on their fucking phones or talking or being fucking assholes in the theater, nobody cares now about the actual presentation of the movie. Like, if the bulb on a fucking projector has wound down and is showing a subpar image, nobody gives a shit until that fucking bulb goes out. Like, they squeeze every last dime out of those things. Whereas before, if the light were down in just a minute amount, the projectionist, because there were such a things, I was one of them, who would go, okay, after this next show, we need to replace that bulb because clearly the people aren't getting the presentation as expected by the filmmakers. So movie theaters are going to go away. What is it, 2019? I'll say 2025. By 2025, movie theaters will be akin to going to a sock hop or like a roller derby competition. Like, it'll be for a very specific demographic, and I'm fine with that because clearly nobody fucking cares from the top on down. What most movie theaters are about nowadays is just selling shit to you at the concession stand, and the movie is an afterthought.
To be fair, a lot of what is driving that is because the studios are taking more from the theaters, and so they have to sell concessions. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, but that's been the case from the beginning. It's always been that 3/4 of the money that a movie takes in goes back to the studio. The 1/4 pays for the overhead of the movie theater. And then the profit has always been the concession stand. So I totally get it. I mean, I'm not mad at that notion at all. Nevertheless, it has become only about selling shit at the concession stand and not caring about the fucking movie. And I'm not there for their fucking, $10 nachos. I'm there for the fucking movie, man.
Let's be honest, we're all there for the $10 nachos.
It's so good. They're so good, right?
Yeah, they come out of a plastic box, and they're covered in highly processed cheese goop, and they're delicious.
Oh my God, they're so good.
I mean, here's the thing about the movie theater experience, like you mentioned. They don't care. And look, even the places that do care are so self-righteous about caring that you would think that they had solved fucking world hunger, that they had cured cancer by making it so that people give a shit when they go to the movies. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Alamo Drafthouse, say it along with me, can go fuck themselves straight in their self-righteous, yet they don't protect the people who work there, straight in their pompous asses. They go fuck themselves. And I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't care because the way that they treat their own staff and covering up sexual assault allegations against customers who they then painted on a wall at their South Lamar location in Austin, Texas, and only then after it being revealed that they did that and covered it up, finally did something about it. There's a problem there in and of itself, but also that you act like you're so self-righteous by kicking people out of the movies for being on their phones. That should just be policy everywhere. Like, that's the fucking sad part. It really is fucking sad.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a middle ground, and nobody has found that middle ground. And until we do, we're stuck with a system of either effete snobs who are not actually interested in movies and a conglomerate of fucking, nacho sellers who are not also interested in the movie experience. Ultimately, what all that anyone wants is to see a movie and see it as intended. And the fact is, now that everything has gone digital, look, I'm no longer a projectionist because movies went digital. And that when that happened, and I was sort of, shunted to one side, my thought was, I understand it because for the first time in history, when you show a movie for the first time and you show the movie for the last time, you were getting 100% positive presentation. There were no scratches, there was no dust, there was no degradation of the celluloid or the cellulose on the film. You were really getting the best possible presentation you could ever get for a movie. And to me, that excited me, even though I was no longer employed. But the people in charge of that don't fucking care, and it's just only gotten worse and worse. And I don't understand the sort of the breakdown between this sort of effete snobby attitude towards movies, which Alamo Drafthouse sort of has cultivated and at the same time exploited, and the sort of giant conglomerate which doesn't give a shit about anything but selling you fucking nachos. So I don't know.
They care more about selling you nachos. They will sell you a $25 cheeseburger and a $10 milkshake.
It's insane. Also, stop selling alcohol at movies. It seems like a good idea. It's actually not. Unless you're willing to come in and tell that drunk asshole to shut the fuck up. Like, don't sell them a fucking beer.
Agreed.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Agreed 100%, which again, but it's cool, it's hip, it's edgy. You can go to the movies and have a meal now. Or maybe...
Which sounds great.
To me, I think that sounds disgusting because the last thing I want to try to do is try to eat my food in the dark. unless it's something that is, circular in nature, or a popcorn or a hot dog, which is technically circular in nature, tube in nature. But like, look, let's not get into semantics, but I really hate the idea of serving food, not snacks, food at the movies. I hate that idea. I think it's just another way for them to try and recoup the losses that they're having by sending 100% of the first 2 weeks of Spider-Man Far From Home back to Disney.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I've always been the person who says to people, can you really not eat for 2 fucking hours? How about you go eat something and then go to the movies? Or
can you not be on your phone for 2 fucking hours?
Yeah, like, is it really that much of a chore? Like, are people really depending on you where you need to fucking be connected to somebody? And if that's the case, go around the fucking corner and answer your fucking phone. The notion that anything anyone has to do on their phone while a movie is playing is bunk. Like, fucking, you get a message, like, the only reason anyone should answer their fucking phone while it's happening is, my child is sick and I need to go take care of it. Like, other than that, why are you looking at anything on your fucking phone? It's kind of a two-pronged thing where movie theaters have become lax as far as enforcing these things, which we get. Nevertheless, the other thing is sort of the home theater experience, where everyone kind of feels, while they're watching a movie, that they're in their own living room. You're not in your living room. You're in a fucking theater with 100 other fucking people who have paid money to sit and try and lose themselves in a theater, and everything you're doing to fucking ruin that is a problem. And you know what, man? As a confirmed moviegoer, like, all of those little things that nobody thinks is a big deal, they are a fucking big deal. Because I can't watch certain movies without thinking about the fucking asshole in the theater when I initially saw the movie. All I want to do is fucking lose myself. And all these fucking idiots are thinking is, what do I need right now? So, I don't know. I honestly, as big a movie buff as I am, if all of it falls into the toilet at some point, I'm good with that. And as long as we can get a more specialized version of the movie.
Well, and that I think ultimately for me that is the big thing is, I mean, like you said, I mean, now all I'm ever going to think about with It Chapter 2 is the fact that this guy was on his fucking phone the entire fucking time.
Dude, I went to see Black Swan, and there was a woman 3 seats beside me. This isn't even a phone issue. This is a fucking food issue, who had a bag of popcorn that was so crinkly, she would unwrap it, have 2 pieces, so it was like crinkle, 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 eat 2 pieces of popcorn, crinkle, 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 crinkle. 5 minutes later, crinkle, 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 crinkle. Just like on and on through the entire movie. Then now anytime I try to watch that movie, all I can think about is that fucking human being. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair to me.
No, it's not.
To anybody.
No, and again, like you said, I mean, here's the thing. In a film like Matinee, these kids are paying $1.25 to go see the fucking movie. Now, in our day and age, it's $15. At least here it's $15. I can only imagine somewhere that isn't the middle of the fucking Midwest, like, Vegas or New York or Chicago or LA, where it's probably $20 a ticket. And it's like, if you don't want to be here, why are you here to begin with? Like, it's not cheap.
Why? No, it's not. Here, you know what, man? I can't believe I'm going to advocate this. Here's my advocation to all of you. Find the day that theater charges the least amount of money. Plot out, because you can do it with sites like Fandango. You can know where the theaters are, and fucking pick how many movies you want to go see, where they're going to be, and how easy it is to sneak into those movies and fucking do it. Do that. because fuck these movie theaters. Nobody gives a shit anymore. There's only a couple of theaters in the United States these days that I would say absolutely do not do this behavior. But like, I honestly have been practicing this for years, where I go to the theater, I pay the least amount I can, and then I sneak into other movies. And I never thought I would be that human being, but then, like, the way that audiences are now sort of presenting themselves, and the way that the theater chains are reacting to those people, like, have necessitated it. So, go out and do that, everybody.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I said, if you don't want to be there, no one's forcing you to be there. Don't ruin everyone else's theater experience. It's not that fucking hard.
It really isn't. Enjoy yourself at the fucking movies. Fucking, I don't know, man. I yearn for a moment in cinema where I can absolutely be taken away by what I'm watching on the screen, and nobody is willing to allow me to do that.
No, it's what's more important is just being on your fucking phone during the movie, or being an ass clown during the movie. It's like, why are you even there?
Shocking.
Yeah, I don't get it. So, but Matinee is a good movie. So there's that at least.
Let's talk about Matinee some more.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
It is fun. I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly that the moments with John Goodman are better than anything else on screen. And on a technical level, look, man, there are moments in this movie where I'm just like, wow, what a set. You've overlit everything, and it completely looks like we're on a fucking soundstage in Universal Studios, wherever, either Florida or fucking Hollywood, where they made the movie. And that rankles me. But at the same time, Joe Dante is one of these guys, no matter what he does, I'm showing up. Because he seems to be, as I said before, this guy who works within the studio system and is completely interested in subverting what you're getting. And he's always done that. And he's one of the most filmmakers that I actually trust more than any other filmmaker. Like, you can stretch yourself in any sort of way as a filmmaker, but Joe Dante has always been a mischievous motherfucker. And there are parts of this movie that I think sort of speak to that, and I think he did a really good job. So, even with the technical limitations, Joe Dante is always looking to fuck with you, and I love that about him.
And again, I think it's a fun, interesting movie that, if you're a fan of cinema, you should probably check this out, because it's a film worth checking out.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I have my own personal attachments to the film, but my attachments aren't yours, and I get that. And I think, regardless of that, you're going to have a good time watching it.
Yeah, and it does a really good job of evoking a time and place in America that most generations now don't have any experience with outside of reading about it in books.
Plus, anytime you have a villain who has written poetry and insists on reading you that poetry, to me, is comedy gold.
Agreed. So what would you give the film out of 5?
It's so hard. I'm going to go 3. How about 3?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3 as well. I think 3 is a pretty fair score.
Yeah.
Again, there's parts of it that I was not on board with, and if I would say the film is 50% John Goodman, 50% the kid, Simon Fenton. If there was 75% John Goodman and 25% the kid, it'd probably be a 4. So, but it's not.
4.5 probably.
Yeah, but it's not, so it's a 3.
Yeah. I think 3 is fair. We've talked about this before. At least I brought it up. This notion that, you know what? Not every movie needs to be the best or the worst.
No, exactly.
Pretty good. They're just pretty good. This, you're not going to be wasting your time by watching this film. You're going to have a good time. It's not going to be mind-blowing. I get it, but you know what? You could be watching fucking reality television and fucking, draining your IQ. So, in this case, go watch this movie.
Exactly. So, we'll take a break and we'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast.
The future's toughest cop is Katie Coltrane.
I'm back.
And now, she's getting a new partner.
His
name is Teddy.
Hit me. It's a dinosaur.
You two solve this case together.
What? It's a dinosaur.
New partner, Coltrane?
He's got the style.
I'm here for a new look.
Step right up.
Push the button.
He's a cop.
Mahalo!
You gotta make him look like a real cop.
I'm too sexy for my clothes.
That thing at the table just clacked at me.
He's got horns for you. It's very normal.
He's got the charm.
Hey! Your mind shut down and your glands have taken over.
And he's got the appetite.
You cannot eat our only suspect.
To come out
Yes!
on time.
Boom! I'm amazing.
New Line Cinema presents
You think you're gonna get somebody?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Can you just slide your butt? Yeah, that's great.
Like that?
And introducing
Ooh, Dougie!
Teddy.
Sweets. One per customer.
Theodore Rex.
Pig.
It's a tale you'll never forget.
I love when he does that.
That's right. On the next Kulturecast, we are continuing on You've Never Seen September with a look at... Yeah, you like that? With a look at Theodore Rex.
Oh, no, I'm on that one as well.
Yeah, you are on that one as well. Theodore Rex is another weird 90s comedy, and it has the distinction of being the most expensive direct-to-video film ever made. So
the only film where you've legally been contractually obligated to star in.
Isn't there something else that was like that too, wasn't there?
This is the only one that comes to my mind. You kind of made a verbal agreement, so now you have to actually be in the movie. We're going to force you legally to star in this movie.
Okay, I thought there was something. There was. Oh, it was the thing where Kim Basinger backed out of boxing Helena.
Right, but she didn't have to star in that movie.
Right.
She did get sued. She did have to pay money, but she's not in that movie.
Exactly. No, Whoopi Goldberg is very much in Theodore Rex. It is very much a film that exists. It is the only film that Whoopi Goldberg regrets doing. Boy, we're just burying the film before we even get to it. However, on the next episode of the Kulturecast, we will be talking about Theodore Rex. So until then, like you said, you're joining me. Until then, where can people find you, Father Malone?
You can always find me on my YouTube channel, which is Off 5 Films. I have a show called You've Never Seen, which we've been discussing frequently here, about movies you may not have seen. Also, I have a new show called Unaired Pilots, which apparently Jess Byard is a fan of, which I'm very excited about. So you can check me out there. You can also hear me on another podcast I do with you, Chris, and our good friend Mike White from the Projection Booth called Dreams for Sale, The Twilight Zone 1985, the reboot of The Twilight Zone. Check us out there.
You can find me on the Kolchak tapes and here on the Kulturecast, and on a little show that Jess Byard and I do called the One Season Show, where we talk about shows that only lasted one season. Big thanks as always to you, Father Malone, for joining me and pointing me in the direction of this film, because I had never seen it until this episode, so it's a lot of fun. My pleasure. And we'll catch you.
It's good, right? Go watch this movie.
Yeah, watch it. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.